All right, I'd like to call to order, meeting to order for the Planning and Zoning Commission, a regular session, July 9th, 2024. Like to consider the approval of the minutes for January the 11th, 2024, Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Take any action necessary. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Approve.
Second.
All agree?
Aye.
Motion approved. All right. Public comments, citizen comments are limited to 2 minutes. Planning Commission, this is not permitted for response to comments from the public per per Texas Open Meetings Act. So it's 2 minutes. I guess they're limited to 2 minutes. All right, and next on the agenda is 2024-07. Hold a public hearing and consider the request of a Pam Sherbin, PE of PSA Engineering for the approval of the zoning change from SF-1 Single Family Residential District to SF2 Single Family Residential District, and amending the future land use plan map of the City of Mount Pleasant 2050 comprehensive plan, and being situated in the John H. Orr Survey Abstract 432, the William Porter Survey Abstract 437, and consider, let's see, and I guess it's 20.059 acres tract of land conveyed from certain property owners as identified in the meets and bounds description to Texas Utility Mining Company by warranty deeds and recorded in certain volume and page as identified in the meets and bounds description of the real estate property records, Titus County, City of Mount Pleasant, Texas, and generally located on the North Reevesway Drive, CR 1317, and the junction of US Highway 271 and US Highway 271BR, and take any action necessary.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. The property is, as you've indicated, it's located here. You got you got Breezeway, and you got 271 and Business 271 located right here. You're probably familiar with this. This came to you in April earlier this year. And for a zoning change at that time, that was to allow for general retail in this section up here, and then for 20 acres of homes, essentially SF1, 52 single-family lots were approved for on this concept plan. And so that zoning was changed. So this is the current zoning here. You've got the general retail portion here, and just like to say that is going to remain general retail. Depending on what happens tonight. But what they're requesting is this portion right here. Single family one are 10,000 square foot lots. That's what the minimum is. And what he's requesting to do is to change that to single family 2. So the minimums are 7,000 square feet. Now, the reason why the applicant is requesting to change that, and he wants to add 20 additional lots. And so when you add the 20 additional lots on this, it's going to change the concept plan from the 52 lots here to 72 lots that you see here. The average lot, according to the applicant, is about 8,300 square feet for that average. And what he's indicated to us is he's still going to have, as he indicated in April, 1,800 square foot homes for the lot, for each lot. So he's indicating that here also. Now, with the with this in mind for the zoning change, we did send out notice to indicate this is a change also to the future land use plan. Future land use plan map is part of the 2050 comprehensive plan. This is the area in question right here. And so this is the blow up of it to see exactly how that looks now for your future land use plan. Essentially, the future land use plan, I got to say, this is not zoning. Future land use plan is not zoning. It's not zoning specific. It is a policy guide to help with the vision of what the citizens took a look at and what council approved in 2022 on how the city needs to develop over the next 20, 25, 30 years. And so this is what you see. So there is an ability to be able to come in and take a look at this to see, well, how does that change here for those 20 additional lots? How's that going to change the character of the area? How's that going to change the context for what you have here? This, now keep in mind when we take a look at this, you're at the city limits here. The city limits runs right along here. This is in the county, or what we call our ETJ, extraterritorial jurisdiction, and this is in the county as well too. So you have a divider here, or a separation from by the highway. And just one thing to take a look at. Community residential, which is the thing you're taking a look at to see if this can be changed to a compact residential. And all this means is you're going to have smaller lots here. That's all that essentially means. And so is that out of character for here when you have larger lots here, you have larger lots down over in here as well? These right now are scheduled to be larger lot development, but until the applicant actually comes in with something, the only thing we have out here right now are small platted lots that were done quite a few years ago, and that was actually a subdivision that was brought back in to the city. I think there are 5 lots out there right now, and so there is an idea of what needs to happen up here. So those are things that you have to weigh when you're taking a look to see, does this allow for the amendment to the future land use plan in order to allow for what we call compact residential for this 20-acre lot right here. Amending the comp plan is, the ability to be able to do that is there in the comprehensive plan when you read that. So it does allow for flexibility and for you to be able to take a look to see how that is going to actually respond to this neighborhood in this area right here. With that, it is discretionary to the city council. However, it does require a recommendation from this body to be forwarded to the city council for their consideration. With that, we did send out public notice to all the properties that are within 200 feet. Those that are inside the city limits, so these out here are not required to be notified, so we did not notice any of those that are in the county, but the notice did go out to those that are located here. Of the 5 notices that we mailed out, we have not received any back either for or against the applicant's request. With that, I don't see the applicant here, but with that, I'm available for any questions that you may have. This is a public hearing, and so with that, I'll just turn it over to you. Thank you.
Is this lot size, the reduction in lot size, is it consistent with any other development in Mount Pleasant, or it would be territory, the extraterritorial jurisdiction? Does this fall within some guidelines, or what's the reason? I mean, obviously the reason is smaller lots, more lots available, but is that consistent with our growth plan?
And so that's one thing that the comp plan does call out for, is additional housing. We need housing. Middle housing is missing. It looks for opportunities north of I-30, so we know we have some other additionals that are happening down here, down to the south. We have this that's happening up over here. So it does call for housing. To answer your question as far as zoning, yes, we do have single-family 2 zoning. That's predominant in the city and probably in the core of the city. Although this is not a zoning map, most of your, as you can see, the probably really can't see it here. The coloration right here is in the core of the city. That is your compact residential, this kind of burnt orange color. that's located here and mostly in this area, and that's where you have your smaller lots or single-family 2 lots in that area. So yes, it is a predominant zoning district.
Yeah, so the size is not gonna be some kind of aberration, that it's gonna be an oddball development or just a group of super small lots, but you think it's consistent with the rest of the city then?
So yes, I mean, I would say that it is. The thing that you need to take a look at is right here. What we have compact residential right here, but when you take a look at actually the aerial view, there are some, I don't know if those are duplexes or some type of row houses down here, a little bit south, that are inside this compact residential area. So this is the closest that you see compact residential here. Otherwise, most of these are your larger lots. These are 10,000 square foot and larger for this area. Now, I've got to say, though, 10,000 square foot lots are not the largest lots that we have. The minimums, 10,000 square foot, is not the largest lot that we have in the city of Rockwall. Most of your, what we call estate lots, are going to be located down here on the south end of town. There's not a whole lot, and then out here in the county, what we consider from the future land use plan point of view as estate lots. Those are, lots that are 2 acres and larger. Those are how you can consider those. But it's certainly something that that you need to take a look at to see if it's going to fit contextually. Does it fit right here? And that's where that recommendation comes forward from this body.
Those are the same size lots that we have over in Bandera State right now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're the same lots, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and open it for public comment.
We had a public comment online, a public question online.
I'm Jimmy Vaughn. I live in Mount Pleasant, Texas also. I understand what Ronnie's saying. The lots where Ronnie and I live are 10,000 square foot. They're 90, 95 to 120 deep. I think what Ronnie's concerned about, and me too, is these lots gonna be what I call a quarter acre, or are they gonna be smaller? Because if you're gonna put duplex on a quarter acre, you're gonna have problems.
These are listed as single-family residential lots. There won't be duplexes out here. It's going for S1 right now, SF1, correct, David?
So yeah, currently it's single family 1. Going to single family 2 changes the minimum from 10,000 square feet to 7,000 square feet. Essentially what you're doing, the front building line from a 10,000 square foot lot is 70 feet, and you go down to a minimum of 50 feet. So those are minimums. That does not mean they'll all be 7,000. As the applicant indicated to staff, they're looking at an average of 8,300 square feet. But these will be single family homes, not duplexes.
Yes, there was a question here. Wesley Line wanted to know if the park will still be there and the sidewalls. That's one of his questions. And he also wanted to know, he said that he'd like to shrink I wouldn't like to shrink any of those lots. That was not what was proposed at the city council meeting. He says that we need to start putting up quality over quantity neighborhoods. And why is the change after it was already approved?
So an applicant can come in, to answer the last question there, an applicant can come in and request zoning at any time. We can't not say you can't request zoning. They can request a zoning. That's the reason why we have a public hearing, and certainly that's why we have public comment. And the public comments are things that you and city council need to hear to see how this affects them and how it affects the neighborhood, and to make that decision. So from a staff point of view, the only thing we can do is take the application, bring this forward to you, and show you what the applicant is requesting. Once again, 20 additional lots. The minimum size are 7,000 square feet. The other question, I'm sorry?
Wanted to know if the park and sidewalls would still be there.
This does not affect the park in any way, shape, or form. The sports complex will remain there. With this development, they are actually putting in sidewalks for this, so it is going to be a walkable neighborhood. Like I said, we've got the general retail that's up on the northern part of that. That's going to be a C-store or convenience store with gasoline sales. And they're also going to have an 11,200 square foot retail facility that'll be, whatever they have in there as far as retail. So that'll be part of the plan, and when they put that in later in the future. Was that all the questions?
Okay, I'll close the public hearing, and if there's any other, do you have any other questions, concerns? Okay, at this time, we need to approve or disagree, agree or oppose, and we'll take a vote. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. All right, the fifth item on the agenda, SP 2024-06, consider a request from Pam Sevier, PE, for the approval of the site plan for an apartment building to be located on the southeast portion of the 1.751 acre parcel of land identified as Lot 3, Block 202B, Mount Pleasant, City Block, Mount Pleasant, Texas, and located on the northeast quadrant of South Jefferson Avenue and White Street, as addressed as 107 White Street, and take any action necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. And the property here that you see it's on the northeast quadrant of South Jefferson and White Street. And as you can see, there is already an existing development here. The Mexican restaurant that's located right here, and this is the only one that's open. There's two others. We've Williams Chicken and Papa John's that's located on this site. So this portion is not what we're looking at. However, we're looking at the area right here where the applicant is proposing to build a 27 unit. It's almost 8,000 square foot residential or multifamily apartment building. This will have 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom units that are within the complex or the apartment building. The applicant did bring forward a material sample board for you to take a look at. He's going to be putting stone on the building as well as brick and some stucco. And if we take a look, this is the site layout where the building's going to be located. You got the AT&T building here, the church located here. You do have some breaks in the building that's going to show some architectural elements associated with this. And he's increasing the landscaping on this site as well to kind of soften the view of this location. With that, he's going to also include a fire lane and put in the new fire lane, obviously put in all the utilities as well, water, sewer, and the necessary utility easements located for the site. Now, there is one thing here as well. There was discovered by SWEPCO, there's an easement that runs across here. It's a primary transmission line that runs over this way. This will have to be relocated. The applicant is aware of that, and they will relocate that prior to construction of the site. We took a look at the building elevations. Once again, stucco, stone, and brick for the facades that you see here, and the landscaping and the lighting plan. We did make some comments to them about the lighting, because you do have some residential that's located, see if I can go back, right over here. Some residential is located over here, so we had them, bring down the light levels over here. That way it doesn't produce any glare, not only for the residential, but also for the motorists that are along Jefferson and White Street. So all that comes into compliance with some of that. With that, this just requires a simple majority vote of the commission in order to approve this, and this is the final stop as well. With that, I'm available for any questions you may have.
Is there enough parking there?
The parking is one space per unit, per dwelling unit, and so he is providing 54 parking spaces that meet the requirements for parking.
Did you have to notify residents close to it? Any feedback from them?
So since this is a site plan, it is, and since this is allowed by right in this zoning district, it's a by right land use, and so there's no reason to notify anyone.
How does it fit with the future plan of Mount Pleasant?
Yeah, it's a use that's allowed by right, so yes, it fits within the plan. And I think I said one parking space per unit. It's actually 2 parking spaces per unit. That's where you get the 54. My math is off a little bit there.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, agenda number 6 on the agenda, planning director's report.
Yes, sir. Once again, thank you. The only thing I have on here is we had a preliminary plat, as you may recall, that went to City Council at their last meeting, and so that was approved, and that was for the Mount Pleasant, the business park off of 16th Street. They got the 10-acre site that there, and then they're going to connect a roadway that'll eventually connect up to the business park as well, too. So with that, I'll take any questions you may have.
Totally off of, maybe off the subject, but I'm hearing a lot of discussion about, I'm gonna call it a mobile home that's being moved in on First Street. And, I thought that couldn't be done in Mount Pleasant any longer. Do you know anything about that? Is there anything to that? Any foundation to it, or what? I mean, I don't live out there. I don't go that direction, so I don't see it. But it sounds like it's somewhat questionable.
No, sir, I'm not aware of that, but certainly I'll get with staff in the morning and we'll take a look, see what's happening out there.
I think John has the information on that, because I've already brought it the second that pulled up on that lot. And from what I understand, it met the criteria or something that the city, so I don't know that much about it, but John's the guy to ask on that, because that's how they pulled the permit, so that's gonna be a John question.
I agree with that. It's a zoning issue, but the thing I need to do is take a look to see what actually is going on and what happened and what was approved, whether it was HUD-rated manufactured home or is it actually a mobile home. There's certain differences that you can do where it's a prefab and things like that. So there's certain things that can and cannot be done. So that's the thing I just need to take a look at and see where we are.
Okay, I think that winds everything up. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all agree?
Aye.
Ah.
Motion adjourned.